So we discussed about, so we are still in introduction chapter, and last week we discussed about religion, or Varnashrama Dharma, or Sanatana Dharma. So especially religion is meant for human beings. Religion is not meant for dogs and cats. Why? Dogs and cats doesn't require, doesn't need to follow. Why? There is no karma for them. There is no karma for them. They behave based on their nature. Their nature. A dog, whatever its nature, it follows that nature. A tiger follows its nature. That means whatever our nature, based on that nature, if we follow, there is no karma. There is no karma. That is why Krishna, in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, clearly mentioned. What did he mention? Whoever follows the karma, natural behavior, whoever follows the natural behavior, for them, there is no karma. There is no karma. So out of all the living entities, we are the only species, a possibility of violating this natural law. We violate the natural law. We change our behavior. That means that possibility of violating of nature is only within us. That means we can be good, we can be bad, we can be anything, whatever we want. We have that. This is whatever it is, through intelligence, whatever we call it as. This is through consciousness, whatever it is. Basically, this facility was given to the human beings. But this facility is given to the human beings not to enjoy, not to enjoy. Instead, to question. To question. Okay, I enjoyed enough. What is next? What is next? So to ask that question. But if we never ask that question, then we are not worthy of a human being. Then the next life is 100% an animal life. Those who cannot question, they are not worthy of a human life next time. It is 100% animal life. So we must question. This is one of the Prabhuji mentioned. What did he mention? He said, Mark Twain, the famous poet or the philosopher, you can say, he said, 2 days in everyone's life must remember. 2 days in everyone's life must remember. What are the 2 days? Can anyone guess? What 2 days are the ones which we will never forget?
The birth and death.
The birth is correct. Death is not correct. What is the second one?
Marriage is trouble.
There are many people who is not married. So for them, there is no second day. Just now only I mentioned the purpose of human life. What is the purpose of human life? What is the purpose of human life? Just now only I mentioned, right? Reasoning, questioning. So the second day we should remember is the time when we start questioning. So first we born, second when we start questioning, then we are in the right path. Then we are in the right path. Or we are trying to get into the right path. That is what it is. Otherwise, living and dying without inquiring is no meaning at all. Living and dying without inquiring in between is no meaning at all. So the most the idea of Bhagavad Gita is this is essence of Vedas. So what is Veda is trying to tell us? It is trying to tell us this is a temporary world where we are situated. So there is a sky above this material sky, which is called Sanatana. It is transcendental sky. The sky which we see is material sky. So there is another sky which is called transcendental sky, also called Sanatana. So Sanatana Dharma. So the Dharma which never changes, a Dharma by following we can reach out to the Lord's abode. That is Sanatana Dharma. So our job is to get that Dharma, to follow that Dharma. That is what it is. So that Dharma is of everything. The Lord is Dharma, the abode is Dharma, we are Dharma, everything is Dharma, or everything is Sanatana. So eternal, everything is eternal. The Vaikuntha planet's eternal, the Lord is eternal, we are eternal, everyone is eternal. So that is where we are supposed to. So this Bhagavad Gita will provide us a path through which we can go to Vaikuntha, or which we can go to that Sanatana. So let us start from here, the Supreme Lord, from here. So every one of you can read couple of paragraphs and we will see. We have only very few. Anyone would like to start the first two paragraphs?
I'll read, Prabhuji.
Yes, one of you, brother.
Yeah, carry on, Prabhu. The Supreme Lord and his transcendental abode are both Sanatana, as are the living entities, and the combined association of the Supreme Lord and the living entities in the Sanatana abode is the perfection of human life. The Lord is very kind to the living entities because they are his sons. Lord Krishna declares in Bagavad Gita, Sarva Yonishu, Aham Bija Pradhapita. I am the father of all. Of course, there are all types of living entities according to their various karmas. But here the Lord claims that he is the father of all of them. Therefore, the Lord descends to reclaim all of these fallen conditioned souls, to call them back to Sanatana eternal sky, so that the Sanatana living entities may regain their eternal Sanatana's positions in eternal association with the Lord. The Lord comes himself in different incarnations, or he sends his confidential servants as sons or his associates or acharyas to reclaim the conditioned souls. Therefore, Sanatana Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. It is the eternal function of the eternal living entities in relationship with the eternal Supreme Lord. Sanatana Dharma refers, as stated previously, to the eternal occupation of the living entities. Sripada Ramanujacharya has explained the word Sanatana as that which has neither beginning nor end. So when we speak of Sanatana Dharma, we must take it for granted on the authority of the Sripada Ramanujacharya that it has neither beginning or nor end. The English word.
You can stop it here, Prabhu. Just
Thank you.
So thank you, Prabhu. So here it's giving in a nutshell what is Sanatana. See the word Sanatana itself, Sanatana Sampradaya, Sanatana Dharma. We use this word very often, even in our day-to-day life, isn't it? Especially in filmy languages, Sanatana Sampradaya, Sanatana Dharma. No? So, but interestingly, our films use this in a negative tone. Sanatana Dharma means old and obsolete. Old, obsolete. Oh, who will follow the Sanatana Dharma? No. Sanatana Dharma means not old. Sanatana Dharma means it is eternal. It is not have a date set on it. Oh, it is started on so and so day and we gave up on so and so day. That is not Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma exists forever. That is Sanatana Dharma. Here that is. And especially here, the most important point we all should remember is Krishna being the Father, he never leaves us alone. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti yaha tasham brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapita. This is the 14th chapter, 4th verse. Clearly Krishna is telling it. I am the seed giving father. That means what? He is the father of all the living entities. Whether it is a dog, whether it is a lion, whether it is a brahmana, whether it is a chandala, whether it is a dog eater, all of them. Whether it is a tree, whether it is a mountain, anything, any living entity, whether it is an insect, anything, Lord is the Father. That is the reason why, we should all be kind to all the living entities. There is no such thing in the universe that one is higher than the lower. In Krishna's eyes, every single thing is equal. Every single thing is equal. So that is why Lord Krishna is coming in various incarnations to take us back, That is the whole idea. That is the whole idea. We're all lost, wandering in the wilderness. Now the Lord is coming to pick us up. Sometimes he is coming directly. Sometimes he is sending his associates, our acharyas. Our acharyas are the associates of Krishna, take us back. That is what it is. This process, this is whatever the process used, it is called Sanatana Dharma. And Sripada Ramanujacharya has given the definition, which doesn't have the beginning or the end. Beginning or the end. This is very, very important. If it has limits on either side, it has a beginning, no end, or it has an end, no beginning, both are wrong. But it has neither the beginning nor the end. So this is forever. As long as everything exists, it exists. This is what Sanatana Dharma. Even the world doesn't exist, Sanatana Dharma exists. So that is eternal. Now let us see what is this Sanatana Dharma, how it is connected to religion. So another person can read the next two paragraphs. Anyone would like to try?
I'll read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu, please.
Yeah. The English word religion is a little different from Sanatana Dharma. Religion conveys the idea of faith, and faith may change. One may have faith in a particular process, and he may change this faith and adopt another. But Sanatana Dharma refers to that activity which cannot be changed. For instance, liquidity cannot be taken from water, nor can heat be taken from fire. Similarly, the eternal function of the eternal living entity cannot be taken from the living entity. Sanatana Dharma is eternally integral with the living entity. When we speak of Sanatana Dharma, therefore, we must take it for granted on the authority of Sripada Ramanujacharya that it has neither beginning nor end. That which has neither end nor beginning must not be sectarian, for it cannot be limited by any boundaries. Those belonging to some sectarian faith will wrongly consider that Sanatana Dharma is also sectarian. But if we go deeply into the matter and consider it in the light of modern science, it is possible for us to see that Sanatana Dharma is the business of all the people of the world. Nay, of all the living entities of the universe. Non-Sanatana religious faith may have some beginning in the annals of human history, but there is no beginning to the history of Sanatana Dharma, because it remains eternally with the living entities. Insofar as the living entities are concerned, the authoritative shastras state that the living entity has neither birth nor death. In the Gita, it is stated that the living entity is never born and he never dies. He is eternal and indestructible, and he continues to live after the destruction of his temporary material body. In reference to the concept of Sanatana Dharma, we must try to understand the concept of religion from the Sanskrit root meaning of the word. Dharma refers to that which is constantly existing with a particular object. We conclude that there is heat and light along with the fire. Without heat and light, there is no meaning to the word fire. Similarly, we must discover the essential part of the living being, that part which is this constant companion. The constant companion in his eternal quality, and that eternal quality is his eternal relation.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So here is another example. He has given wonderful example. The way we cannot take out heat and light from the fire. Fire means itself, it must produce some heat. It must give some light. That is called fire. When we say liquid, it must flow. It should not be like a solid. We cannot say, oh, okay, this ice is completely solidified and become an ice block. Sorry, the water is solidified and become an ice block. But the original form of that ice block is water, liquid. That means if we take away the quality of liquid from the liquid, we cannot call it as liquid. That is eternity. That is the quality that exists with the product. Exists with the product. For example, sugar. We all know that sugar means sweet. If we call a product sugar and which is not sweet, then calling that product as sugar product is pointless. Sugar means sweet. So that product must have that quality. That means that cannot be separated. So the dharma is not a separate entity. This is an integral part of our life. That means chanting, worshipping, listening, praying, glorifying, all these are integral part of our life. Our life, we may forget now, but they were part of it. They were part of it. So the original constitutional position of our body, our character is such that. So in Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, I think it's the 11th verse or 7th verse. It says, Savai pumso paro dharma yata bhaktir adokshaja ahaitiki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Isn't it? The constitutional position of all the living entity or men is to get the loving service of Krishna. Loving service of Krishna. That means we must perform this service. That is our eternal job. That is not separate from us. Unfortunately, in the material world, we take everything as separate, isn't it? As a father, I have one dharma. As a husband, I have one dharma. As a son, I have one dharma. As a brother, I have one dharma. All these dharmas are separately there. And that is all tied to my body, isn't it? My body. My body being called with various relationships. With my parents, I am a son. With my wife, I am a husband. With my children, I am a father. That means this body has all these relationships. As soon as the life from this body disappears, now what happened? All these relationships are gone for good. That is not eternal. That is only pertaining to one lifetime. One lifetime. That is Manudharma. Basically, dharma which follows in this. That's all it is. Afterwards, it may change. It may change. I still remember it when I was very small. In history book, this is, I don't know how many of you are still remember it. Andhra Pradesh, south side, this line is always there. There is one social reformer, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. I think it should all be there. He's not from Andhra Pradesh. He is from somewhere. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He is the first person who condemned what? Anyone know? Raja Ram Mohan Roy. What is?
Sati Prabhuji.
Yes, that is correct. Sati Sahagamana. He is the first reformer objected Sati Sahagamana. What is Sati Sahagamana?
So
Anyone?
husband is dead, the ladies also they will push into the fire.
There you go. That is correct. So this was a norm earlier. We have seen it, right? In our history, who are the people performed that one? Who performed that one? At least we know one personality. Who did that one?
Madri?
Yes, Madri. That is correct. When Kunti is about to do that one, Madri objected, because of me, Pandaras has died, so it is my duty to perform. So Madri did it. Madri did it. But this was completely condemned when it comes to modern civilization, because things have been changed, altered, and used for a material gain. That is why they condemned it. But doing this one is benefit to both actually. Wife and husband both got benefited this Sati Sagamana. Why? They don't have much value to the body. They consider after death. But nowadays that was not the case. So when the meaning lost it, so this became a ritual. This became a ritual. I think one time one Maharaj mentioned, either Radhanath Swami or Hanmat Pesha Swami mentioned, in the modern times, there is only one place this was witnessed in public, in Nepal. In Nepal, one lady did it when her husband died, right in front of everyone, objecting, many authorities objecting it, but she didn't care. She performed it. But afterwards, they passed a law. They passed a law. So this is, so we can see it, these dharmas changing it. I still remember it in Andhra Pradesh, at least now. Earlier, when I was a boy, the rule of family planning is Iddaru Leka Mugguru. What does it mean? So a family can have two or three children. Now what happens? When I become or come to the college and sometime, then it became one or two. Now what they are saying is none are one. Because there are plenty of people, if you want it, you can adopt. So even if you don't have, you can adopt it. But in case if you want of your own, let have one instead of multiple. That is the norm. This is not Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma means which never changes. It's quality. It is dharma that is integrated. integral part of it. Integral part of it. So if you remember it earlier, questioning is integral part of our right. We must question. We shouldn't say that I don't have a question. No, something wrong. Because there is no way a living entity exists without a questioner. We born with a question actually. We born with a question, isn't it? Why did we born here? We're all supposed to be somewhere else. We're all supposed to be in Vaikuntha planets. We're all supposed to play with Krishna. Why are we here? So the question is already integral part of it. We should question. That is why Atato Brahma Jignasa. What does it mean? After all of this, what is next? That's the question. This is Sanatana Dharma. Now what happened? Non-Sanatana religious faiths are in fact, when Sanatana Dharma translated into English, it says religion. But if you look at the meaning of religion in English, it says a faith-based system. A faith-based system. A faith can be changed, altered, anyway, based on what we see, isn't it? A faith-based system can be easily altered. Easily altered. I have seen it. When I was a small boy, I have certain faiths. When I grow up, my faith has changed. My faith has changed. So during our lifespan of time, many of the faiths can change left and right, left and right. That is not religion. A true meaning of Sanatana Dharma, a religion means which never changes it. That is why many times when we go book distribution, this question was asked to me. Oh, you practice Hinduism. This is what they say. Oh, are you from Hindu community? Are you practice Hinduism? This is what they ask me. My answer is no. I never practice Hinduism. I didn't say. I practice Sanatana Dharma, which is universal law. Which is universal law. It doesn't have any boundaries. Muslims can practice it. Christians can practice it. Any religion in the world can practice it. That is what we follow. That is Sanatana Dharma. That is what I say. I did many times. At least, when I said like that, many Muslims, Christian communities, they came forward. At least they will take a look at the book and everything. In fact, that is true. None anywhere in Vedic scriptures we found a word called Hindu. Only we found this word called Hindu in our translations, commentaries. They cannot explain certain things. They put that word called Hindu to distinguish from the other religions. But otherwise, in the original Sanskrit text, you won't find anywhere called Hindu. So the Sanatana Dharma which we are practicing is never sectarian. Krishna is not only God for Hindus. He is God for every single living entity. Just now only he spoke. Sarvayonisha Kaunteya, Aham Bija Pradapita. So the Lord is the father of every living entity. He didn't say that I am only father for Hindus, I am only father for Christians, I am only father for Muslims. No. He said I am father for every living entity. That means anyone can practice it. Krishna consciousness. Whichever way you take it, that is Sanatana Dharma. So non-Sanatana Dharma is completely faith-based. They have the beginning, they have the ending, right? As I mentioned before, all these systems have certain time frame. Okay, if you look at it, Maurya dynasty, Chola dynasty, and Pandya dynasty, and Akbar time, whatever that called Akbar time. Now all these dynasties ruled for certain period of time. Even China, for example, Ming dynasty, and few more are there. In Japan, if you look at it, shoguns, and few more are there. So these dynasties live for a certain time, and then vanishes. Something else will come. That is not Sanatana Dharma. That is what he is talking about. So what we are learning is for eternity. Oh, Bhagavad Gita only for this lifetime. After this one, I don't need Bhagavad Gita. No, Bhagavad Gita is for ever, forever. So let's read the last two paragraphs for today. Anyone would like to try? Chellam
Yes.
Mataji? Yeah, anyone, that's fine. I think it's Navina Radha Mataji.
Who was telling before me?
No,
Somebody
no, no.
speak.
I'm asking, Chellam Mataji, I heard very, it's kind of very rare that I heard, so I just thought of asking Chellam Mataji.
Mataji can do it. Mataji there. She can do.
Prabhuji, I was driving Prabhuji like.
Okay. That's fine.
Sorry, Prabhuji.
No problem. So, Navina Radha Mataji, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. So which one is that now?
When Sanatana Goswami asked,
Okay. When Sanatana Goswami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the swarupa of every living being, the Lord replied that the swarupa or constitutional position of the living being is a rendering of a service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we realize this statement of Lord Chaitanya's, we can easily see that every living being is constantly engaged in rendering service to another living being. A living being serves other living beings in various capacities. By doing so, the living entity enjoys life. The lower animals serve human beings as the servants serve their master. A serves B, master, and B serves C, master. C serves D, master, and so on. Under these circumstances, we can see that one friend serves another friend, the mother serves the son, the wife serves the husband serves the wife, and so on. If we go on searching in this spirit, it will be seen that there is no expectation in the society of living beings to the activity of service. The politician presents his manifesto for the public to convince them of his capacity for service. The voters, therefore, given the politician their valuable votes, thinking that he will render valuable service to society. The shopkeeper serves the customer and the artisan serves the capitalist. The capitalist serves the family and the family serves the state in the terms of eternal capacity of eternal living being. In this way, we can see that no living being is exempt from the rendering service to other living beings, and therefore we can safely conclude that service is the constant companion of the living being, and that the rendering of the service is eternal religion of the living being. Yet man professes to belong to a particular type of faith with reference to a particular time and circumstance, and thus claims to be a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or adherent of any other sect. Such designations are non-Sanatana Dharma. A Hindu may change his faith to become a Muslim, or a Muslim may change his faith to become a Hindu, or a Christian may change his faith, and so on. But in all circumstances, the change of religious faith does not affect the eternal occupation of rendering service to the others. The Hindu, Muslim, or Christian in all circumstances is a servant of someone. Thus, to profess a particular type of faith is not to profess one's Sanatana Dharma. The rendering of service is a Sanatana Dharma. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Here is the conclusion for today about Sanatana Dharma. This is the best one, very, very best one. See, we have so many religions, but underneath one thing is very common. Even a non-devotee, underneath one thing is common. That means every living being, that includes the Supreme Lord too. Underneath, there is one thing is common. What is that one? Relationship. Without relationship, nothing exists. We existed because of Krishna. We have a relationship. We have a relationship with Krishna. We have a relationship with other living entities, isn't it? We are being into existence, into this material world means We have a relationship. Sometimes we say we are orphan. We are orphan. I don't have anyone. That is not true. We never were orphaned at all. We are orphaned by circumstance. We are orphaned by circumstance. Whatever the reason it is, parents left the child unattended. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a relationship. No. Underneath, we have the relationship all the time. And that relationships make us to serve or receive serving. We serve or receiving serving. We do. We do. Isn't it? Tell me anyone in the world that doesn't serve. Anyone, including president. Interestingly, if we look at it, our hierarchy, the topmost is the president, the bottom, the lowest is the people. The lowest is the people, the topmost is the president. Interestingly, this is never as a linear from down to bottom. Instead, it is a circular. There is no beginning, there is no end. Interestingly, people serve the local authority serves state authority serves central authority, and central authority serves the people. See the interesting? The highest authority serving the people. The highest authority serving the people. And whom the people are serving? The local authority. See, the very interesting actually. So this is a circle. This is a circle. In fact, this is exactly what Krishna's statement, isn't it? Krishna is the topmost in all of it. But whom Krishna likes? Krishna likes the most fallen. Krishna likes the most fallen. Why is it so? Why Krishna likes the most fallen? Any comments from anyone? Why Krishna likes the most fallen? Hare Krishna.
Because Prabhuji, humility, because fallen person is always humble and
No, sometimes he may not have a humility or anything, but sometimes drug addicts, they didn't even know what they are, which condition they are in at all. So what is the most fallen person? Why Krishna show so much mercy on the most fallen people?
Maybe they are the one need help. Prabhuji, like
That is the right, that is the perfect one, because they are the most needed ones. They are the ones need the help the most urgent, isn't it? Narottama Das Thakur exactly claimed this one in his prayer, isn't it? What is the prayer, Narottama Das, the famous song? Anyone know? Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Patita Pavana Hetu Tavayavatara. So, O Lord, you are the most merciful incarnation, but I am the most fallen. My claim is first. My claim is first. That means the most fallen ones are the most needed ones. That is what exactly it is. So even the Lord himself serves. So serving is nothing wrong. We take it serving as a servant in a negative tone, isn't it? We don't have much respect to a servant, isn't it? Because the way we are all grew up, master is the highest, servant is the lowest. This is the notion we have. That is why we don't have much respect to a servant. But that is not true. That is not true. Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nityadasa. So our eternal job, occupation is serving. We must serve. Whom we serve, it is up to us. Whether I wanted to serve the highest authority, that is Krishna, or am I wanted to serve the false pride, illusion, which one I wanted to serve? It is my choice. It is not Krishna's choice, it is my choice. But serving is a must thing. So that is what exactly here talking about. So no matter whether we are Hindu, Muslim, Christian or something, underneath we all must have relationship. We all serve based on our relationships. That is who we are. There is no exception to that. That is the reason serving is an integral part of us that cannot be taken away, separated. This is one of the reasons why impersonalism is not accepted in Vaishnava traditions. Is not accepted. Why it is not accepted? Impersonalism, there is no question of serving. This is one of the main reasons. Serving, it is missing. Our integral, our constitutional position is serving. But if we are not serving, then what I am doing? Who I am then? It doesn't have any meaning at all. That is why we didn't accept impersonalism as something we need to really taking it seriously. We ignored impersonalism. The reason is it is not worth even discussing it, because it doesn't involve serving. So the whole idea of Sanatana Dharma is, it is not something we adopted. No, it is something we born with naturally, organically. It is with us. With us. Let me give one of my own example actually. Earlier, when I don't know all these things, with half knowledge, I argue with many people. Half knowledge, I argue with many people. Oh, what is the so difference of Sanatana Dharma? Oh, we are all blindly standing in front of these copper deities and this deity, that deity. What is so big deal? Some person in the street made this one and you brought it inside and make it as something so special, this and that. I argue so much. Even with my half knowledge, I defeat many people too with my half knowledge. But when I really know the value of all these things, I don't know how I can even think of that way. It is a shameful thing for me. As long as I live, I always regret that I was in that position. I criticized something which is not supposed to be at all. It is so shameful that we are openly, freely utter Lord's name loudly. I had this problem when I was asked to loudly chant Govinda, Gopala. It is a big task to me. When I was first married, we all went to Tirumala, and that time I'm against to this all worships, all these things at all. But this is being marriage, we don't have, because the first after marriage, the first trip is to Tirumala. Our first trip is to Tirumala. In the queue, everyone is chanting big Srinivasa, Govinda, Venkateshwara, Gopala. They're big, and everyone accompanied with us also chanting it. I'm the only person who couldn't chant. Even I distinctly remember my uncle, my maternal uncle, is asked me, why don't you just say loudly once to Govinda? I couldn't do it. If I think that incident now, it's so shameful. It's a You know, I'm glad that I found this path. Not I found, this was given. This was given by the mercy of others. By the mercy of others. It's so, I don't even have words to express my, inability that I couldn't recognize any of this sooner. Since the beginning of my life, 5-year-old, I was given so many chances to utter Lord. Remember, my life is somehow integrated with all this. You know, Lord Rama's temple is very near to our home. It's just walkable distance. I hear every single day Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, every single day. That is how I grew up. But I never paid attention. That means nearly 35 years I wasted in my life. 100 times I think of now, what would have been happened if I practiced it since 5 years old when I was guessed opportunity to. Who knows? So that is how all these things works out. So I'll just stop it here and let us see if we have any comments and questions from anyone. So please open up your mics and pass a couple of comments for another 5-10 minutes. Anyone?